So, want to kind of do an update really quickly on Hunter Biden, the emails, the allegations, why this all matters, why it continues to matter. Number one, the emails are real. You know, I get it. It's funny to watch Borat set up politicians. I loved the original Borat. I think it's hilarious. I'm going to be watching the sequel. But I think it's really disturbing that every mainstream media outlet goes with this story of Giuliani when we still haven't seen the footage, and it could be highly doctored and edited. We don't know. And I'm not defending the guy. If he does something pedo-like because this woman was presented as like 15 or 16 apparently, even though she was 24. Deceptive altogether, but you know how I feel about... I'm not even a fan of Giuliani, period. But what I'm not a fan of is that this has taken over the actual story of the laptop, the high-level corruption of not only the Biden family, but a generation that has become used to outright nepotism, political corruption, and doing mental gymnastics to apologize for cartel-like criminals, like the real gangsters, and that's what they are. And when you go to Hunter Biden, and you see what happened with Burisma, and you see, you know, again, other people's relatives in there, John Kerry's son, etc., you know what that thing was. And they were already under investigation in their own country. And I'm sorry, it's not cool, and it's not right when you have Joe Biden up there with Richard Haass of the CFR, who, again, is like, you know, the guy who brags about being the puppet master and that there's more than nation states. And he says he goes to the Ukraine and he has $1 billion, and he had already cut a backdoor deal with Poroshenko and others to have the prosecutor who was going to investigate his son fired because he was investigating his son. And when there was pushback, he goes, well, then you don't get the $1 billion. I'm on a plane in 6 hours. Well, son of a bitch. He got fired. Brags about it. And then they impeach Trump on a phone call talking to a world leader, asking him to now investigate it, saying that he's now going to withhold aid. The dude just said he was going to withhold $1 billion. And then they made it a national security issue. And, you know, then I have other people smearing me and saying, well, this is just QAnon nonsense. It's nothing to do with QAnon. We now have, you know, again, documentation that, number one, the FBI agent involved in this, who his signature is on it, is also the top child porn investigator. Well, that's odd. Huh. That's so weird. That's something we should look at. Meanwhile, you know, you have the underage obsessions thing out there by Chanel Rian of OAN. You have Steve Bannon saying there's a bunch of sex tapes on here. And then you have Giuliani dropping the 14-year-old girl bombs. And now other journalists going even further, saying that it's his niece and that it's Beau Biden's daughter. Even creepier. And then how far this is going to go, they say some of these photographs have Biden with the girl, and the girl is, you know, in compromising positions. Look, the CP stuff is disgusting. The Burisma stuff is disgusting. The China stuff is appearing to be more and more criminal. Okay? I don't understand how you can look at this as a right or left issue, period. Or that you can project this terrible onto Giuliani. You want to go after Giuliani, there's plenty to do it with. You know, covering up 9/11 would be number one to me. All right? You go to Robbie Martin, who leans way more, you know, left than I do, and he's concerned not only with that, but with his relationship to his anthrax cleanup company. And let's not forget, his right-hand man, Bernard Kerik, you know, is a criminal, convicted criminal. And by the way, someone who speaks in front of the CFR, to show you how dirty all these organizations are. So what we do here is we try to stay grounded in reality and not play team baseball. But when you look at what happened in 2016 with those emails that came out through WikiLeaks, what they try to do? They tried to say Russia, Russia, Russia. Completely disproven. Some people still believe it today. What did they start with this? Russia, Russia, Russia. Already completely disproven, okay? Already completely disproven. But hey, the facts aren't the facts anymore. Right now we're going to run with big stories from Sasha Baron Cohen, who we did a video on today because he's been calling for censorship. And he's been twisting the facts. And this guy wants authoritarianism. And it's sad. And it's sad. He did so through an op-ed piece, saying the Nazis, could get political ads on Facebook, in 2020. Meanwhile, Time magazine, which he used as his vehicle, had Hitler on their cover many times. It was Time Man of the Year 1938. Hypocrisy much, Sasha? Hypocrisy much? I mean, give me a break. Okay? And we already have the Director of National Intelligence saying this isn't a Russia job, saying the emails are legitimate, which again, if they are legitimate, if they had the laptop, then if the FBI were in any way legitimate, they would have never let the impeachment go forward because they would have known the corruption was there. Instead, we would have had a different type of prosecution. Yet the world is upside down, and that is not what we got. Instead, we got a guy like Sleepy Joe here basically saying, hey, we can go well beyond court packing. Okay, and if you guys don't understand what that means, it means changing our entire judicial system, our already very weak system in our constitutional republic of checks and balances. Because there seems to be an executive branch well beyond the president, okay, that is not beholden to the president, that is not beholden to these checks and balances. And now you're going to give lower level politicians more power and really adopt more of a Chinese model of slavery in this country. We're already seeing it. We're already seeing speech be restricted. So let's play Joey B. Well, really, Zombie Joe. You know what else is really alarming about this? Not only is it pre-taped, and they've got him in like full makeup, and it's all cinematic, and you see the blur outs, but you can already tell how edited it is to try to make him look better. How they cut shots mid-sentence because the guy can barely talk because he's zombie fucking Joe Biden.
If elected, what I will do is I'll put together a national commission bipartisan commission of scholars, constitutional scholars, Democrats, Republicans, liberal, conservative, and I will ask them to, over 180 days, come back to me with recommendations as to how to reform the court system because it's getting out of whack.
How to reform the court system? 180 days. Joe, if somehow you steal the election, Joe, do you think you have 180 days in office? And, liberals and conservatives. Yeah, right. Give me a break. Authoritarians. Wolves in sheep's clothing, Joe.
The way in which it's being handled. And it's not about court packing. There's a number of other things that our constitutional scholars have debated, and I'd look to see what recommendations that commission might make.
So you're telling us you're going to study this issue about whether to pack the court?
No, whether there's a number of alternatives that go well beyond packing.
This is a live ball.
Oh, it is?
I mean, look at the cutting on this. Look at the editing. If this doesn't tell you, that the media is trying to frame this guy, as much more, intellectually there, into much more coherent than he is. Just take a look. It's right here. It's right in front of your face.
It is a live ball. No, it is a live ball. We're going to have to do that. And you're going to find there's a lot of conservative constitutional scholars who are saying it as well. The last thing we need to do is turn the Supreme Court into just a political football. Whoever has the most votes gets whatever they want. Presidents come and go. Supreme Court justices stay for generations.
So again, he's openly saying we can go well beyond court packing. Dangerous and odd times, my friends. And I think we're going to wrap it up soon, but I did want to put out there that right now Derek Broze is under attack. We already know that the Last American Vagabond has been taken down. He got another video restriction today with an interview. I don't know who Johan is, but they're talking about censorship and the lockdowns, and that's why it's so important that you support me on this platform right here. If you're watching this live on Rockfin. Thank you so much. You've made the jump. Again, we're doing it live 5 days a week here. Live 5 days a week here, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We could go up to 2 hours. It's hard because, again, I don't have commercial breaks. It's tough to get guests at these times, but we're not going to leave it, up to the clock, if you will. What I'll do is I'll leave it free for those 2 hours, no matter what. So for the next hour and 15 minutes, you'll get it free. Thank you for the premium subscribers. You get all the content out there, including everybody else's content. All the documentary films are free. This is how I do it. $5, $10, $15. Big donors. You mean the world to me. Make sure you're also subscribed and sharing the stuff over on the platform for censorship, because it's the biggest one out there. And, we're going to go kicking and screaming if we do go. Guys, I love you. And thanks again. We'll see you on the flip side.